a minister to be able to get that together. All right. I am honored today to present our speaker, also my friend, Sherri Norton. Originally from Dodge City, Kansas. Sherri went to school at OSU and then UCO. She's got a lot of letters after her name, which means that she has had a lot of training, speech therapist, but also a teacher and a leader. I've got her resume here, and I think it would take me 3 days to read different things off of it to you. Some of the things I see in some of the most recent experiences, hospital staff clinician, lots of management, rehab service manager, coordinating therapy services, overseeing the therapy department, ensuring Medicare compliance, JACO accreditation procedures, all of that. But she's here today to talk about the Department of Communication Sciences and Disorders at Oklahoma State University. So please welcome my friend, Sherri Norton.
I felt a little bit like I was about to be an FBI informant when they hooked me up with the microphone. So, but I think it's on and working. So, all right. Thank you guys for letting me come and talk. I was going to ask how many of you knew that we had a speech and hearing clinic at OSU, but our department head, everybody knows that now, correct? But Peter is our department head at the Communication Sciences and Disorders department at Oklahoma State University. And a part of what we do for the students there is we give them their practicum experience in our clinic. So they have the opportunity to work with children and some other people. I'm going to give away my own speech here. So here are the things that we provide. We provide accent modification, alternative and augmentative communication, which means people who are using those electronic devices to speak, and aphasia, articulation, phonology, cognition, fluency, motor speech disorders, reading and writing, receptive and expressive language, resonance, therapy, swallowing and feeding, and voice disorders. So those are some things that some services that we provide. And there are probably many people that you know that have some of these disorders. So what you already know, well, it's not a maybe, it's a definitely, that we do have a speech and hearing clinic. And what you may know is that we provide therapy for children. Most people think, oh, speech therapy, they work with kids. And so with people who have fluency disorders or stuttering, articulation, those are the kids who say wabbit for rabbit, and a bunch of different sounds that they will have trouble with. And then they may have some difficulty learning how to understand language or learning how to express themselves in language, or they may not know the word onomatopoeia. And so I just had to share that, sorry. So we also do hearing aid evaluations and hearing aid fittings. So those are some of the things that you probably knew that we were doing. Some may have already been to our clinic and have gotten hearing aids from there. But what you may not know is that we provide some reading and writing therapy for children. We provide therapy for people who have feeding disorders and swallowing disorders, cognitive disorders, and motor speech disorders. And those are for children. And then what we do with adults that you may not know, we work with people who have aphasia, cognitive disorders, which includes the memory, problem-solving, judgment, feeding disorders, swallowing disorders, resonance disorders, which that includes hypernasality, so maybe someone who's had a cleft palate, they may have some resonance disorders, voice disorders, and then reading and writing difficulties. All right, so now this is the part that keeps you guys from getting bored in my talk. So I think this is a good group to do this with. I wasn't sure how you would do. Little bit of trivia.
I didn't plant this.
Little bit of trivia. I couldn't leave this slide off. I've got some more at the end that I took out. But all right, so just a bit of trivia, and I just happen to have some prizes. My students have learned that you don't want me to throw it to you because it ends up being at you instead of to you. But I do have some prizes for people who get the answer first. So, all right, this is your interactive portion. Okay, no, we have to do this the right way. Who was the popular singer, or is, who wrote the song, Sweet Caroline? Awesome. Okay, so who was it? I saw a hand over there, so, okay. And do you dare me to throw it? Okay, I'm going to at least only, there. That's, okay. My next one's not near as much fun, but since we had the Olympics recently, who is the boxer less commonly known as Cassius Clay? And there's a hand over here. Muhammad Ali. Very good. Okay, the next, we have, this won't hurt anybody if I throw it. And unless I see that it should have been thrown like a frisbee instead. I didn't get a choice about whether or not they were throwable. Okay, so who played 20 seasons in the NFL? Primarily for Green Bay Packers. He did 16 seasons with Green Bay Packers. I only know that because I researched it this week. And I did have a Bart Starr football card.
Bart only played.
Yes, Brett Favre. Okay. There. Oh, and another bit of trivia. Who rode bicycles with me about 5, 6 years ago? Took a ride out to, it was Sarah. Okay, who was the first person to break the 4-minute mile barrier in 1950? Okay. The reason I thought of bicycle is I wanted to keep that for my bike.
I'm so proud.
Good job. Okay, now the big question. What do these guys have in common? Muhammad Ali, Neil Diamond, Brett Favre, and Roger Bannister. What do they? That's pretty general. What kind of speech disorder? Or what kind? Parkinson's. Who did I? Yep. He doesn't know onomatopoeia, but he knows Parkinson's. So. 50%. So Parkinson's is, I shouldn't look down and talk at the same time. Okay, there you go. Okay, so the reason I'm talking about Parkinson's right now is we have been very fortunate at the Communication Sciences and Disorders Clinic to have gotten grants in the past from the Parkinson's Voice Project out of Richland, Texas. And they have allowed us to train our students in the treatment, in a specific treatment for Parkinson's disordered clients. Typically, it would cost them about $500 to go to the course and be certified. And so they have been able to be trained in our clinic. And so we provide this Speak Out program to anyone who has Parkinson's disease. And right now we have 2 groups. We have one online group, and then we have an in-person group. And then we also have several individual sessions. And we have done some remote groups. We've had a Spanish-speaking group, and then we've also had a group out in the Ponca City, Blackwell area. Okay, so something else that we probably do at the clinic that you guys may not be aware of, and this was my baby, we have flexible endoscopic evaluation of the swallow, which is done with the scope, and we put the scope in transnasally, and we go back to just behind the soft palate and look down at the vocal cords. We can look at the vocal cords and kind of evaluate for voice disorders, but also we can use this to evaluate swallowing. So the nice thing about this is it gives us a way to evaluate swallowing in our clinic, and we don't have to use radiation, because the other way that we evaluate swallowing disorders is through a modified barium swallow, which is done with radiation and fluoroscopy. So this is a picture. On one side we have a picture of one of the students who is scoping one of our models, and the model is anatomically correct from the nose all the way to the bronchioles. And then on the right-hand side, he is anatomically correct all the way. And that That is one of our students who is scoping one of our other students. And so this is something that, why we're proud of this is, OU doesn't have this. And there isn't another university in Oklahoma that gives the students the ability to be able to scope to learn how to scope before they leave the program. It's typically something that they learn out in the field and have to take classes after they've graduated. So that is,
Stop right there. Carol wants to.
he's going to volunteer?
No, he's wondering why the swallowing, how it connects with.
Okay, yeah. It'll be a little bit longer than a 20-minute speech, but the reason why speech therapy, this is in a nutshell, the reason why speech therapy works with people who have swallowing disorders is because the same muscles that we use for speech are also used for swallowing. Yeah, so. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe he needs something for asking that question since he didn't really ask. Well, you see why I didn't go into athletics. Yeah. Okay, so other standout programs that we have, this with the swallowing is not the only thing, but it's probably one of the secrets. People just don't think of swallowing being a part of what we do. But we also have dyslexia testing and treatment. And it has gotten harder and harder to find a place where you can have your child tested for dyslexia or be treated for dyslexia. So we have a big program that we've just started there. We also have reading camps in the summertime. We have Cowboy Fluency Camp as well in the summertime. And something new that we've started is Autism Camp and then Aphasia Camp. And we do that over at the Tulsa campus because there are a few more clients with aphasia in Tulsa. So we have Aphasia Camp, and then we also have something called Grandparents University, which is an OSU thing, but we have people who can come to our clinic and learn about what we do. And the one that comes to our clinic is called Talk to Me. That's the name of the Grandparent University course. So this is the entrance to our clinic, and we are in Social Sciences and Humanities building, formerly known as Murray Hall. And we're right across from Theta Pond. And so that's where we are located. And feel free to come by, and I'm sure that Peter would love to give you a tour. And if he's not available, I can give you a tour. We have anybody we even have graduate students who would probably volunteer to give you a tour. So thank you for listening. And if you want some extra questions, who drove the DeLorean?
Who has questions? Oh, you got extra trivia?
Extra trivia. So I can get to who drove the DeLorean? Marty McFly. Yes.
I have a question.
I was going to say, I bet we have presentation questions too, Sherri.
Yep.
What is your department's involvement with OSU Able Tech?
Oh, we have a very close relationship with them. We are not, what happens is a lot of times they will provide materials for us. They will provide things that we need so we can allow some of our clients to have a loaner, or recently they get some grants because we do demos for them. And so with those demos, that allows them to give us a grant. They paid for the sensory lab that we have. We have a sensory room for kids with autism, so they provided the equipment for that. Also, in collaboration with the Masonic, the Masons, that has been paid for. And then also, just when we have equipment that we need, they loan it to us on a pretty regular basis. And then recently, I had some things that I wanted for a client, and they purchased them and said, when you're finished with them, then you can give them to us. But they bought them just for our clinic. So
The reason I ask is my daughter has an eye gaze, and she got that through, I think Able Tech and a grant there. And that's just, it's an iPad that has forward-facing cameras that reads her pupils,
Right.
and she can communicate on an iPad because she's unable to talk. So I didn't know how closely that is related to what you all do, but I'm guessing very.
Avery teaches one of our classes, so one of the representatives from there teaches our AAC class, which is Alternative Augmentative Communication, and we, she will come by our clinic once a week and either bring stuff or pick up stuff that we use.
Okay, go ahead, Larry.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
What age group do you start seeing? How young?
Probably our youngest is a year, and actually can be younger than that.
Okay.
Because if there's infant feeding disorders,
Got it.
there are infant feeding disorders, and so we would see them much younger.
Do you have to
So-
pay to do this?
We have, I should better give that to Peter. There is, there
Well,
are.
this is awesome. I just was
Yeah.
wondering if.
We take insurance.
Okay.
And then if insurance is not, if there's someone who really is not able to pay, we also have a program where we can provide a little bit of assistance for them.
And then lastly, this is a real broad. What's your rate of success with this?
Rate of success?
Yeah. Is it 90%, 50%?
It depends on the disorder.
and I know the
think
disorder,
it's so
but-
broad that it would be hard to
Let's
say.
take stuttering.
Okay, stuttering. That is not my field. And I will
Pick one
say
of your
the
fields.
For stuttering, the new thinking is they're making them more comfortable with their fluency, which does help to decrease the fluency. But to say somebody's completely healed, that's kind of a different story with stuttering as opposed to. So with swallowing, depending on the diagnosis, with a stroke client, very high, I would say 80 to 90%. With someone who has Parkinson's, we can improve the swallow, and then we'll have to come back maybe later on and do a re-up. And a lot of times, the swallow will improve just based upon some compensatory strategies that we might teach them.
So there are a number of audiologists in town that provide, hearing aid fitting and audio testing. So what kind of feedback, or do you get any pushback from the private sector? Because I'm assuming your services are either no charge in that case, or at least lower than the audiologist might charge. Help me out here.
Okay, well, hearing aids are a funny thing because Medicare doesn't like to pay for them. And so anybody who sells them, they don't get a lot of profit from those. But I would say that we're not, we provide a payment plan, and the hearing aids that we have in our clinic are hearing aids that the actual hearing aid company allows you to rent to own. So we have a rent-to-own program, so that gives us a little bit of an edge over maybe some of the out in the private sector, but that if they choose to sell those hearing aids, then it doesn't give us any edge at all. But we do have to pay for them. There is a cost, and we have to pay for them. So I don't think it's such a significant difference between our prices and their prices.
So you're really not hearing anything from the private sector about complaining that you're competing with them, right?
No, I thought you were making a pun there for a minute.
I have a question. So do you have to have a referral to come to your clinic, or can anyone call and make an appointment? And if so, where do you park?
That is the best question. Okay. Referrals are good. We do not have to have referrals for children. And really, speech therapy is not something you need a referral for. However, if you were going to do the fees, you would need a physician's order for that, and in order for us to get reimbursed for that. But, so, sorry, but you could call us, and on some occasions, it would just be certain diagnoses that we might need a referral. But otherwise, you just come in. Our secretaries will let you know what you need if you call them, and they'll get that information to you that you would need. And
That's-
where do you park?
Yes,
There
where
is
do
a
you park?
parking lot, just a small parking lot. We have 10 spaces just north of our building, and that's where you would park. And then you can go inside and get a pass so that they don't tow your car.
And I would point
don't know.
out, Larry just reminded me, I did pass out just one set of the brochures that Sherri had up here per table. If you want more information, I'm sure she can get it for you. And she also has her business cards up here. So if any of you would like to take contact information to call our office, look at making an appointment, or just going to get a tour, I'm sure they would welcome us coming in.
Yeah.
Anybody else have questions?
Can you talk a little bit about the student involvement for the CSD students? Are they working in the clinic? Do
They
they do their
are.
practice? Do you often
Yes.
send graduate students outside of the clinic for practicums?
We do that as well. What our students come to us, and in the first year graduate students, they are doing clinics, so they may have 3 clients, and they do pretty much 100% of the therapy with those clients. And then they make 3 to 4 clients, and then the second semester they have the same thing, 3 to 4 clients, and then a summer of clinic as well. So the same thing. And then the next year they have half of the semester where they have classes, and they're getting classes the whole time, but half of the semester they have classes, and the second half of the semester they go out on an externship. So they can pick an externship wherever they go, and what we try to do, or wherever they want to go, and what we try to do is give them a place that gives them a wide variety of experiences. So if they have an interest in adults, or an interest in medical speech pathology, or an interest in school speech therapy, then they can choose that. So we try to give them one child placement and an adult placement. It's harder to get the adult placements, but we typically they're getting their adult hours. So any other questions?
How far out, my last one, how far out are your appointments? Depends on the service, maybe?
We have a
Currently
we have a
booked.
waiting list, except I should word that differently. I have an extra opening in my schedule, but but getting an the evaluations are happening pretty quickly, and once the evaluation is completed, then there may be some.
That's good to hear. I know it's frustrating when you call and you have a problem and they're like, we can see you 6 months from Tuesday.
Right. Dermatology, that's.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Sherri,
You're
for coming.
welcome.
Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you. If you guys want some goodies.
If you want some swag, she's got extra swag and you don't even